January 12th, 2025. My investigation had changed me. There I was, lying on the warm forest floor, face down, ass up. Who was I? Who was I? Who was I? Who was I? What was this? A message from God?
Bottom does not equal submissive.
I knew right then that my path was righteous. I'd had it all wrong, right from the very beginning. Could it be? I had to know. I had to check. I couldn't believe my eyes. The message from Dog was right. No. No, I had it all wrong. How could I be so blind? I need to go right back to the start. I have a problem. You're addicted to eating pickles? No, people on the internet are calling me names. How's it going, guys and pals? I'm Alice and your favorite Kiwi trans girl, and yes. I've been here before. You see, a while ago, I launched an investigation that proceeded to derail the entire course of my life and my entire raison d'etre. To give you a quick recap, my community was adamant that I was a bottom, though I thought differently. I embarked on the investigation to ascertain the meaning behind the moniker, and more importantly, to understand why they were calling me a bottom. This led me down a rabbit hole that nearly ended with my ego death. But I now know I was wrong. You see, I'd been coming at it from the wrong angle, and only after I received a message from Dog, I looked back at the comments section and realized I'd made an elementary error. In the mathematical landscape of transgender sexuality, I had made a mistake equivalent to forgetting to carry the zero. Bottom does not equal submissive. They are two separate terms. So what do they really mean then? Join me today in part 2 of my investigation as I attempt to ascertain the meaning behind both terms and determine why, oh God, why, my community still seems to think that I am one or both of these things. Because despite my efforts thus far, I am still convinced that I am a dominant top. All trans girls are submissives? Watch me prove you wrong. It will be perilous, it will be introspective, it will be perilous, and it will be hot as My investigation started by analysing the effects. In my original investigation, I looked over all of the sus comments that I could find. Now that we know bottom and submissive are separate things, it's time to take a look at these with a different light. Does my community think I'm a bottom, or do they think I'm submissive? Let's count them up. Bottom, bottom, submissive, submissive again. And as I aptly pointed out in the last video, a year ago I responded to this comment saying lies, fake, and gay. Submissive, submissive, bottom, sub. Bottom, 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 submissive, bottom, bottom, furry, bottom, submissive, 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 submissive. There's quite a large number on either side, so I think it's fair to say that my comment section seems to think that I am both, which is lies, fake, and gay. I also believe I'm not alone. I think my community is also confused about the meaning of bottom and submissive. See here? Alice, I'm not a bottom, and then referring to a scene where Katra is extremely dominant. That is conflating bottom with dominant, which are two separate spectrums. I'm confused, you're confused, so what do the two words mean? Time to consult the Oxford English Dictionary. Bottom, a person's buttocks in the lowest position. Submissive, ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive. Noun, a person who takes the submissive role in BDSM sexual activities. Oxford is dead. You're submissive. That's just rude. One of King George III's subjects, me. I'm a kinky submissive whore. Damn, they really don't moderate Urban Dictionary, do they? Okay, here we go. A person in BDSM who submits to a dominant person. A submissive can be a slave and/or the bottom. Aha! Bottom. Harry Styles. Bottom, you. Someone who prefers to take a more submissive role in sexual situations. So from what I can gather, bottom means either being Harry Styles or receiving a member of the penile variety, whereas submissive is simply adopting the obedient role in a power exchange situation. That's as simple as I can make it, but it's really very confusing, and even Urban Dictionary is confused. I think possibly because the term is very similar, and often someone who is a bottom is also a submissive. But still, correlation does not equal causation. The more I looked, the more I realized the reason it was so easy to confuse bottom and submissive is because most trans girls actually happen to be both. And both terms tend to indicate each other. Only the outliers were one or the other. Yet all this did was muddy the water. Why did my viewers think I'm submissive? Why do they think I'm a bottom? I still didn't understand. Too much confusion. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I needed to get above it all to see it all with a clear view. But how?
What are you doing?
I needed to get above it all. I needed to get a good vantage point, somewhere from which I could look down from on high and figure out this mess of tangled threads. This whole situation had grown so much bigger than just me. It was too big to see from on the ground. I needed to get high. I see something.
What is it?
A sign. But being up in the trees had given me clarity. A fog pulled away from the edges of my mind and I was able to see deep into the back of my cranium. No, ignore that. My viewers were so sure that I was a bottom or submissive, there was truly no convincing them. So why bother?
So, what'd you find?
I'm not doing this for the viewers anymore, Chloe. This is for me. I need to know who I am. Go home and get some rest. We've been going for a long time today.
What about you?
I need to think.
I needed to take a step back and come up with a plan of attack. This wild goose chase was doing me no good. Running around from one idea to the other. What was the goal? In the first place, the goal had been to prove to my viewers that I was a top. Now I also needed to prove that I'm dominant, and to make matters worse, I wasn't even doing this for the viewers anymore. How was I supposed to prove to myself that I'm a dominant top? There had to be a way. That's it. I needed to dom someone. Trial by fire. And this is when things started to get very interesting indeed. I took some cute photos, thought about who I was, and made profiles on several dating apps. Looking for relationships? No. Looking for hookups. Looking for someone I could tie up and have a little fun with. After a couple of hours, it was all done. And now all I had to do was wait for people to show interest, and then surely, sooner or later, I would have a chance to prove myself. Just the act of setting it all up had given me confidence once again. I felt it. Dominance. I wasn't there yet, but I had a plan, and it made me feel better. Let's make use of this powerful feeling of dominance. Good night to play some games. Play till I lose? Looks like it's gonna be an all-nighter then.
5 minutes later.
Alice!
Huh?
Quick, get dressed.
What is it?
I discovered something I think you want to see. Last night, I was looking up cute girls, and I couldn't stop thinking about your problem, and so I was curious and I started researching, and I found out that trans girls only started becoming submissive in bottoms at massively disproportionate rates around the end of the late 2000s.
How's that possible?
Here, read it with your own eyes.
No, I mean, how is it possible that you did research? You're not supposed to have free will. That was explicitly stated in your eBay product details. But regardless of how she stumbled across it, Chloe was right. There was no denying it. Come with me.
So wait, why are we here?
Chloe, we can't trust anyone. There's no way to be sure my house isn't bugged.
In my research, a name kept coming up again and again. I couldn't find anything specifically relating it to the rise in trans girls being submissive/bottoms, but it started appearing in Google searches around the same time.
What's the name?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I can write it down for you.
How could this be possible? Was this just a trend that got slightly too statistically anomalous? Was it something more? Chloe's numbers were bizarre. To be frank, I expected the rate of submissive/bottomness in trans girls to be high. We weren't curious about a weighted percentage. We were never expecting it to be 50-50. Nor did we think it should be. Trans girls want to be girls, and girls historically lean more towards the submissive. That's not opinion. That's simple fact. But what we were seeing, it couldn't be real. Those stats that Chloe had found, those surveys, time and time again, returning numbers of over 98%. Something was fishy. What had we just stumbled across? And why was I suddenly concerned for the masses? This whole time I'd been focusing on merely clearing my own name, but now, was there something more at stake? It was all too easy to write trans girls off. It was all too easy to assume that this was just a tendency that fell in line with wanting to be a girl. But I couldn't. Not anymore. There was no denying it. The statistics were simply too extraordinary. And we found ourselves having to change course, having to face the facts. There was only one explanation. Something or someone is making all of the trans girls submissive. But before I could prove that, I needed to prove myself.